Welcome to a special edition of the Minnesota Vikings Chat podcast, pre-draft podcast. We're trying to cram in as many positions as possible before the draft on April 25. The Vikings have 11 picks this year, 2 in the first round, many holes to fill, among them defensive tackle, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And so the Vikings on depth, the depth chart for the Vikings defensive tackle is rather thin. We've got Kevin Williams, who is our best defensive tackle on the roster right now, but he's aging and is not what he was in his prime, clearly. And so he was recently renegotiated his contract to a one-year deal, so this is likely his last year on the Vikings roster. Behind him, at his position, we have Christian Ballard, who really hasn't impressed thus far as a Viking. And at nose tackle, there's LaTroy Guion, who has been okay, I guess. Fred Evans, I think, has outplayed Guion. And then we got Chase Baker behind them, but all of them, as we said, are not as good as an aging Kevin Williams. So we need to get some young blood.
So he hasn't fallen apart. I'm so tired of reading about Kevin Williams and how he's been a disaster, and everything you read like 3 times in the article says Kevin Williams has fallen off the table and he's a disaster. And
not a disaster.
He's very good.
Exactly.
It is a point of concern, and his contract is a concern.
Yeah. But we do need to bolster the position, and we do need his eventual replacement. So that's what we're going to talk about here. We should mention the difference between the two types of defensive tackles that we're looking for. We need depth at both positions. So there's Kevin Williams' spot, which is the 3 technique. And when people talk about the 3 technique, what they're talking about is not necessarily a technique, but a position along the defensive line. And so odd numbers, when they're referring to numbers and techniques, odd numbers are offset from the opposing offensive lineman they're lining up against, and even numbers are when you're lining up head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet against the opposing offensive lineman. So for the 3 technique, what they're referring to is a defensive tackle who is offset to the outside shoulder of the guard. And so that's Kevin Williams' position. And for that position, you need explosiveness because it's designed to get the defensive tackle to penetrate the line of scrimmage, to disrupt running plays, and to attack the offense during passing plays as a pass rusher. The other defensive tackle is commonly called a nose tackle. So you've got the under tackle with Kevin Williams' position, and then the nose tackle with the other defensive tackle position. And that position typically is somebody you want, a big guy, 330-pound guy who eats up. Pat Williams, exactly. Perfect example of a defensive tackle. Eats up space, demands double teams because he's so big and powerful. Can disrupt running lanes and cut and account for the cutback runs too. So those are the 2 types of positions we're looking at. And this draft is apparently deep in defensive tackles, but we'll start out with the top 2, which we're not likely to get, but let's talk about them anyway. So first we've got Sharif.
Actually, before you start, should mention the contract status of the 4 starters on our defensive line, that all 4 are unrestricted free agents at the end of the year, which is a very rare thing. So.
That's right. So it wouldn't be surprising if we take a defensive end as well. Next up, and another player that a lot of people have us picking with our 23rd or 25th pick is Sylvester Williams, who's out of Alabama, 6'3", 323 pounds, 32-inch arm length, 9 3/8 hands, 30 bench press reps. I don't have any running stats on him. So what were your thoughts on Williams?
I liked him a lot. I highly recommend anybody go check out the Bleacher Report. They have a great video of him highlighted on every play in a game against Virginia, which was just wonderful. He didn't dominate the game. It just was him in a regular series. It looked like he got tired at the end as it got down to goal line. He didn't get quite as much push. But big, athletic, got in there quick. He's a nose tackle. Looks like a nose tackle. Not great change in direction. Not great moving all around. Maybe not the best tackler. He was another one that looked to me like he was kind of grabbing on. But he seemed to get a bunch of his tackles late by just continuing to go. And quarterback would go one way and come back eventually, and nose tackle kind of cleans it up. I like that. He's a little older. He's 24, going to be 25. There's a big story with him about he was done as a senior in high school and he wasn't going to play anymore. And then he came back. And, I don't know. He seems very good.
Yeah, he's one that everybody's saying, well, if he has the commitment to and passion to play, based on your comments. So who knows about that? But yeah, he's played both tackle positions in a 4-3 defense. So there's that. As you said, probably more of a nose tackle. Has a nice swim move, but he uses it a lot.
Yes. I forgot that. I should have said that first. You can definitely see that in the videos. It's like, oh, I'll try the swim move again. Ah, surprise! The swim move work.
So we'll probably have to learn a few more moves if they're going to ask him to rush the passer quite a bit. Often double teamed, but he did seem to get a pretty good penetration in the backfield. So I did notice that the defenses were paying close attention to him and assigning another blocker to him. Like what I saw of them, and I'd be happy with either Richardson or if we haven't talked about defensive tackle that you like, put your comments leave your comments below and share the videos, of course, and like them and all that stuff, and we'll look at cornerbacks next. So Rick, you got any self-promotion you want to do?
Just promote this, help us out, let people know about it. And again, I'll repeat, get in your opinions before the draft.
Exactly.
It doesn't count if you put some guy in after the draft. Oh, you should have talked about
I had, yeah.
Exactly. These things are dated. Look out.
Exactly.
So get on it now.
So let's wrap this for Minnesota Vikings Chat Podcast, MinnesotaVikingsChat.com. Follow us on Facebook at Facebook.com/Minnesota Vikings Chat, on Twitter at Twitter.com/MNVikingsChat, and use the Vikings Chat hashtag when talking about the Vikings, of course, so we can find you. Until our next podcast before the draft, that's a wrap. Go Vikings.
Go Vikings.